Have you ever opened your mouth to speak English and nothing came out? Your mind went completely blank, even though you understood every word they said? Hello, my friends. Welcome to Shadowtalk Studio. Take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. Today, we're going to talk about something that almost every English learner experiences, but almost nobody talks about. That moment when someone speaks to you in English, you understand every single word, but when you try to respond, your heart beats faster, your face feels warm, your hands might shake a little, and the words just won't come out. You say nothing, or you say the wrong thing, and the conversation moves on without you. Later, when you are alone, you replay that moment in your head. You think of everything you could have said. The perfect sentences were there, somewhere inside you, but they didn't come out. This feeling has a name. It is called freezing. And today, we're going to understand it. We're going to face it, and we're going to fix it. Not with more grammar rules, not with more vocabulary lists, but by understanding what is really happening inside your mind. Because once you understand the real reason, the solution becomes very clear. Stay with me for the next 30 minutes. I promise you this. By the end of this video, you will see freezing differently. And at the end, I will share a story. A true story of someone who froze every single time she opened her mouth in English, and what happened when she finally understood why. Watch until the end. That story might change everything for you. If this is your first time here, welcome to Shadowtalk Studio. This channel is for people who understand English but struggle to speak it. People who have the knowledge inside them but need help bringing it out. Every week, I create long practice sessions like this one. We talk about the psychology of speaking English. We practice phrases together, and we build real confidence. Not fake confidence. Real, deep, lasting confidence. If that sounds like what you need, subscribe to this channel and like this video so more people like you can find it. Now, let me tell you why you freeze. Most English teachers will tell you that you freeze because your vocabulary is not enough, or because your grammar is weak, or because you need more practice. But here's the truth. Most people who freeze have perfectly good English. They have studied for years. They know thousands of words. Their grammar is reasonable, but they still freeze. So vocabulary and grammar are not the real problem. The real problem is your brain. And I mean that in a very specific way. Your brain has one primary purpose, one job above all other jobs, to keep you safe. Every second of every day, your brain is scanning your environment, looking for danger, looking for threats, looking for anything that could hurt you. And when it finds danger, it takes control. It overrides everything else. It stops you from doing whatever you were doing, because safety comes first, always. Now, here's what happens when you try to speak English. You open your mouth. Your brain immediately asks one question. Is this safe? And your brain looks at the situation. It sees people watching you. It sees the possibility of saying something wrong. It sees the possibility of embarrassment. It sees the possibility of people judging you, laughing at you, thinking less of you. And to your brain, this danger feels completely real as physical danger. Your brain cannot tell the difference between the fear of embarrassment and the fear of falling from a building. Fear is fear. Danger is danger. So your brain does what it always does when it senses danger. It sends one clear signal through your entire body. Stop. Don't speak. Stay silent. It is safer to say nothing. And you freeze.
This response is called the freeze response. It is automatic. It is instant. You cannot control it consciously. It happens before you even decide to speak. This is why telling yourself just relax or just say something never works, because the freeze response is not a decision, it is a biological reaction. And this is the most important thing I want you to understand today. You are not freezing because you are bad at English. You are freezing because your brain is working exactly as it was designed to work. Your brain is protecting you. It is doing its job perfectly. The problem is not your brain. The problem is that your brain learned the wrong lesson somewhere along the way. It learned that speaking English is dangerous. Maybe you said something wrong once and people laughed. Maybe a teacher corrected you harshly in front of others. Maybe you tried to speak and couldn't find the words and felt deeply embarrassed. Your brain remembered that moment, and it decided, speaking English in front of people equals danger. Avoid it. And now, every time you try to speak, your brain pulls the emergency brake, and you freeze. Now here is the second reason freezing happens. When you speak English, you are trying to do too many things at exactly the same moment. Think about what is actually happening in your mind. You are listening to what the other person is saying. You are understanding their words. You are thinking about what you want to say. You are translating your thoughts from your mother tongue into English. You are checking your grammar as you speak. You are thinking about your pronunciation. You are watching the other person's face for their reaction. You are worrying about whether you sound natural. That is 8 different mental tasks happening simultaneously in real time under social pressure. No brain on earth can handle all of that smoothly at the same time. Not even native speakers do all of that. Native speakers don't translate. Native speakers don't check grammar consciously. Native speakers have automated most of the process, but for you, it is all still manual, all still conscious, all still requiring mental effort. So your brain reaches its limit. It cannot process everything at once, and it shuts down. This is called cognitive overload. Too much information, too many simultaneous tasks. The system crashes, and you freeze. The third reason is perfectionism, and this one is very common among intelligent, hard-working people. Before you speak, you want the perfect sentence ready, the right words in the right order with the right grammar and the right pronunciation. And while you are searching for that perfect sentence, the conversation moves forward, the moment passes, and you say nothing, because nothing felt good enough. Perfectionism in English speaking is not a virtue, it is a trap. It feels like you are being careful and responsible, but what it is actually doing is keeping you silent, keeping you small, keeping you frozen. So, to summarize the 3 real reasons you freeze. Your brain learned that speaking English is dangerous and pulls the emergency brake. Your mind gets overwhelmed trying to do too many things at once. And your perfectionism keeps you waiting for words that never feel good enough. These are not character flaws. These are not signs of weakness. These are natural human responses to a challenging situation, and every single one of them can be changed. That change starts with what we are going to practice right now. Now we move into the practice section of today's lesson. We are going to learn 2 sets of phrases. The first set are emergency phrases. These are the phrases you use in the moment when you feel yourself starting to freeze. They buy you time. They keep the conversation alive, and most importantly, they give your brain a moment to calm down and recover. The second set are confidence phrases. These are phrases you say to yourself, not to other people, to yourself, every day, morning or evening. They slowly reprogram how your brain thinks about speaking English. They teach your brain that English is not dangerous, that speaking is safe, that making mistakes is acceptable. Over time, these phrases reduce the freeze response significantly. Let's begin with the emergency phrases. The first phrase is this: let me think for a moment. 5 simple words, but these 5 words are incredibly powerful. When you say this, the other person immediately understands. They stop talking, they give you space, they wait for you. And while they wait, your brain has time to calm down. The words come back, the panic fades, and you can speak. This phrase does not make you sound weak or unprepared. It makes you sound thoughtful, like someone who takes their words seriously. Native speakers use this phrase constantly. Let me think for a moment. Keep this phrase close to you. The second phrase is this: that's a good question. When someone asks you something and you feel the freeze coming, start with this: that's a good question. It gives you 2 to 3 extra seconds. Your brain uses those seconds. It searches for words, it finds them, and you continue. That's a good question. The third phrase is this: can you say that again, please? Many people feel embarrassed to ask someone to repeat themselves. They think it makes them look like they didn't understand. But asking someone to repeat is completely normal. Native speakers do it all the time. And while the other person repeats, your brain is recovering. The panic is reducing. The words are coming back. Can you say that again, please? This phrase is not a sign of weakness. It is a smart strategy. The fourth phrase is this: I understand what you mean. Sometimes you understand perfectly, but you need a moment before you can respond. Say this first: I understand what you mean. It tells the other person you are engaged, you are listening, you are present, and now you are thinking about your response. It keeps the conversation warm while your brain prepares. I understand what you mean. The fifth phrase is this: how do I say this? Say this out loud when you cannot find the right words. How do I say this? It shows honesty. It shows effort. Most people respond with patience and sometimes even help you find the words. It turns a moment of panic into a moment of human connection. How do I say this? The sixth phrase is this: what I mean is, when your first sentence came out wrong, when it was unclear or incomplete, don't stop, don't apologize, just continue with this phrase: what I mean is, and then say it again, differently. This is what confident speakers do. They don't stop when words come out wrong. They redirect. They continue. What I mean is. The seventh phrase is this: give me a second, please. Short, direct, honest. You are asking for time, and almost everyone will give it to you. Of course they will say, take your time, and in that time, you recover. Give me a second, please. The eighth phrase is this: I know what I want to say, but... This phrase creates instant understanding and connection because everyone has felt this. Everyone has had a thought they couldn't express, in any language. When you say this, the other person nods. They understand completely, and they wait with patience. I know what I want to say, but... The ninth phrase is this: sorry, I need a moment to collect my thoughts. This is perhaps the most honest and elegant phrase on this list. It is completely natural, it is respectful, and it gives you all the time you need. No one will rush you after you say this. Sorry, I need a moment to collect my thoughts. The 10th phrase is this: let me put it this way. Use this when you tried to explain something and it didn't come out right. Instead of stopping or apologizing, you simply try again from a different angle. Let me put it this way. It shows confidence. It shows persistence. It shows a speaker who doesn't give up. Let me put it this way. These 10 phrases are your emergency toolkit. When the freeze starts coming, when you feel the panic rising, reach into this toolkit, pull out one phrase, say it, and give yourself the time you need. Write these phrases down somewhere, your phone, a notebook, anywhere. Read them before situations where you know you will need to speak English. Let them become automatic. Let them become part of how you speak. Because when they become automatic, the freeze loses its power over you. Now we move to the confidence phrases. These are different. These are not for conversations with other people. These are for conversations with yourself. Every morning or every evening before you sleep. Just a few minutes. These phrases work because of something very important. Your brain believes what you tell it repeatedly. If you tell yourself every day that speaking English is dangerous and embarrassing, your brain believes it, and it freezes you. But if you tell yourself every day that speaking English is natural and safe and something you are getting better at, your brain slowly starts to believe that too, and the freeze response gets weaker and weaker and weaker. This is not magic. This is how the brain works. Repetition creates belief. Belief creates behavior. Let's go through these phrases. The first phrase is this: I can do this. 3 words. Say them every morning. Say them before every English conversation. Say them when the fear arrives. I can do this. Not I am perfect. Not I am fluent. Just I can do this. Right now. In this moment. I can do this. The second phrase is this: my English is getting better every day. This is true whether you feel it or not. Every lesson you watch, every phrase you practice, every conversation you attempt is making you better. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, progress is happening. Say this and mean it. My English is getting better every day. The third phrase is this: mistakes help me learn. This phrase is about changing your relationship with mistakes. Right now, mistakes probably feel like failures, like evidence that you are bad at English. But mistakes are the most efficient way to learn anything. Every mistake shows you exactly where to improve. Every mistake is information. Every mistake is progress in disguise. Mistakes help me learn. The fourth phrase is this: I am not afraid to speak. Say this even when you are afraid, especially when you are afraid, because your brain is listening to every word you say to yourself. And when it hears, I am not afraid to speak, it starts to question the old belief. Maybe speaking is not so dangerous after all. Maybe we can try. I am not afraid to speak. The fifth phrase is this: I enjoy speaking English. This might feel untrue right now. That is completely okay. Say it anyway. Your brain learns through repetition, not through immediate truth. Plant this seed every day. Water it with practice, and one day you will notice that it has become true. I enjoy speaking English. The sixth phrase is this: every conversation makes me stronger. The conversation that went well, the conversation that went badly, the conversation where you froze, the conversation where the words came easily. Every single one made you stronger, because every single one gave your brain more experience with speaking English, more data, more learning, more growth. Every conversation makes me stronger. The seventh phrase is this: I am proud of how far I have come. Take a moment with this one. Think about where you started. Think about the English you knew then, and think about where you are now. You have come further than you realize, further than you give yourself credit for. Be proud of that journey. It was not easy, but you kept going. I am proud of how far I have come. The eighth phrase is this: I speak English with confidence. This is your daily declaration, your morning promise to yourself. I speak English with confidence. Say it 10 times every morning. Watch what happens after 30 days. The ninth phrase is this: I am becoming a confident English speaker. Notice the word becoming. This is important. Not I am already perfect, not I have already arrived. Becoming, a journey, a process, moving forward every day. That is all that is required to keep becoming. I am becoming a confident English speaker.
The 10th phrase is this: my voice deserves to be heard. This one is deeper than the others. It goes to the heart of why many people freeze. Deep down, some part of them believes that their words don't matter, that their opinion is not worth sharing, that they should stay quiet and let others speak. This phrase challenges that belief directly. Your voice matters. Your thoughts matter. Your words deserve to be spoken and heard. In English, in any language, my voice deserves to be heard. Say these 10 phrases every day. Not once, not occasionally, every single day. Make it a habit as natural as brushing your teeth, because your English will not change until your mindset changes first. And your mindset changes through repetition, through daily practice, through telling yourself a new story, a story where you are not someone who freezes, but someone who is becoming a confident English speaker, one day at a time. Now I want to tell you a story, the story I promised you at the beginning. Her name was Priya. She was 24 years old. She grew up in a small city. She studied hard throughout school. She loved books. She was intelligent, curious, and determined, and she studied English for 12 years. She could read English novels. She could watch English films without subtitles. She understood lectures and podcasts and conversations around her. Her English comprehension was excellent, but she could not speak. Not in front of people, not when it mattered. She got her dream job at a large company, the job she had worked toward for years, and in her first week, she sat in a meeting room surrounded by colleagues. Her manager looked at her and asked a simple question: "What do you think about this project, Priya?" The room went quiet. Everyone looked at her, and Priya froze. Her mind went completely blank. Not because she had no thoughts about the project. She had many thoughts, good thoughts, valuable thoughts, but not a single word came out. She shook her head slightly, said, "I'm not sure," and looked down at the table. The meeting moved on, and Priya sat there feeling smaller than she had ever felt in her life. That night, she went home and cried, not because the meeting went badly, but because she knew she had something to say. She knew her English was good enough, but something inside her would not let the words come out. This happened again the next week, and the week after that. Every meeting, every conversation, every moment when she needed to speak, the freeze came, and the silence followed. She started to believe that something was fundamentally wrong with her, that she would never be able to speak English the way she needed to, that she would always be the quiet one in the room, the one with no voice. Then, one day, she came across something that changed her understanding completely. She learned about the freeze response. She learned about cognitive overload. She learned about perfectionism. And for the first time, she understood. This was not a language problem. This was a brain problem, a fixable brain problem. She was not broken. She was not permanently silent. Her brain had simply learned the wrong lesson, and brains can learn new lessons. So Priya started practicing. Every morning, 10 minutes, she said her confidence phrases. She rehearsed her emergency phrases. She spoke English to herself in the mirror. She started with small situations.
Ordering coffee in English, asking a shop assistant a question, saying good morning to a colleague. Small moments, low pressure, safe situations.
And when she froze in those moments, she reached for her emergency phrases. Let me think for a moment. Give me a second, please. What I mean is, the phrases gave her brain a bridge, a way across the frozen moment. And slowly, very slowly, the freeze started to lose its power. 1 month after she started this practice, she was sitting in a meeting. Her manager asked her the same type of question. What do you think about this, Priya? The room went quiet again. Everyone looked at her again, and the freeze started to come. She felt her heart beat faster. She felt her mind starting to go blank. But this time, something was different. This time, she had a bridge. She took a quiet breath. She said, "That's a good question. Let me think for a moment." Her manager nodded. The room waited. And in that moment of waiting, Priya's brain recovered. The words came. She spoke. Not perfectly, not like a native speaker, but clearly, honestly, with her own voice. Her manager listened carefully, and when she finished, he said, "Good point, Priya. I hadn't considered that." Priya walked out of that meeting feeling something she had not felt in a very long time. She felt heard. She felt present. She felt like herself. That was the turning point. Not the day she spoke perfectly, but the day she spoke honestly, with what she had, in her own words. Today, Priya presents to clients. She leads discussions. She shares her ideas openly and confidently. She still makes mistakes. Her English is still not perfect, but she does not freeze anymore, because she knows something now that she didn't know before. The freeze was never about her English. It was about fear. And fear, when you understand it, when you face it, when you practice through it, loses its power. Every time you practice, you are doing what Priya did. You are facing the fear. You are choosing growth over silence. You are teaching your brain a new lesson, that speaking English is safe, that your voice matters, that you deserve to be heard. My friends, thank you for being here today. Thank you for giving me 30 minutes of your time. That time belongs to you now, in the form of understanding and phrases and a new way of seeing the freeze. You now know the 3 real reasons you freeze. You have 10 emergency phrases to use when it happens. You have 10 confidence phrases to reprogram your mind every day. And you have Priya's story in your heart, a reminder that change is possible, that the freeze is not permanent, that your voice is waiting to come out. If this video helped you in any way, please like it. Not for me, but so that someone else who is freezing right now can find this video and get help. Subscribe to Shadowtalk Studio. Every week, we go deeper into the psychology of speaking English, and every week, we practice together. Write a comment below. Tell me one thing. Which of the 10 emergency phrases felt most useful to you? Write it in the comments. Practice your English right now in this safe space. I read every comment and I will reply to you. In our next video, we are going to talk about something closely connected to today, why you are so afraid of making mistakes in English, and why that fear might be the single biggest thing holding you back. You will not want to miss that one. Subscribe so it comes directly to you. Until then, remember this. You are not someone who cannot speak English. You are someone who is learning to let the English out. There is a difference, a very important difference. Keep practicing, keep believing, keep going. This is Shadowtalk Studio. I believe in you completely. Goodbye, my friends. See you in the next lesson.